The Hallelujah Flight by Phil Bildner, illustrated by John Holyfield. The first day I met James Banning, he said, "Mr. Allen, my dream is to fly a plane from sea to shining sea, and this here OXX6 Eagle Rock is our plane. But first, I'll need you to overhaul the engine." I just about coughed up my coffee. Replace the entire engine? How will we pay for that? Times were hard and most folks didn't have a nickel to spare. "I've got an idea," Banning replied. "Whenever people give us food, fuel, and supplies along the way, they can write their names on the tip of the wing. They'll fly into the history books right along with us." "That just might work," I declared. Banning and I got right down to business fixing our plane. The crew from the airport thought we'd about lost our marbles. "You'll be lucky if you get that crate 2 inches off the ground," cried the carpenter. "Even luckier if it lasts 2 minutes in the air," echoed the engineer. "They're a pair of hobos," mocked the mechanic. "The flying hobos, they all called us." Nevertheless, on the afternoon of September 19th, 1932, we flying hobos climbed into the cramped cockpits of the OXX6 Eagle Rock and took off from Dicer Airport on the outskirts of Los Angeles. "Here we go!" Banning cried. What a racket it made! The engine whined, my fittings creaked, and the tail section rattled. On top of that, our plane seemed to have a mind all its own. Without any warning, it rocketed into a rise and then shot down into a dive. It kept us on our toes hundreds of feet in the air. That first day, we didn't even make it out of California. Then again, we weren't really expecting to. We just wanted to be sure our plane could fly. When we landed after the first leg of the trip, I inspected our plane from nose to tail. "We have a leaky pump," I said. "I'm going to need some tools and parts. It's time we put your plan to the test." Banning and I headed into town and asked for help. At first, like the airport workers, the locals thought we were missing a few screws. However, as soon as we told them they could sign their names on the wing, every last one of them pitched in to help. Bright and early the next morning, we headed on our way, flying over the desert of Southern California. The cozy cockpits heated up like ovens. "It's too hot!" I yelled. "Do what I do," Banning hollered back. Suddenly, Banning was unhooking his overalls and unbuttoning his shirt. In a matter of moments, the two of us were flying in nothing but our underwear. The next leg of our journey took us flying hobos over the state of Arizona. We soared high above the Grand Canyon, the Painted Desert, and the petrified forest. As nightfall neared, Banning spotted a familiar airfield in the distance. In the dark, Banning made his approach. He banked us around a group of mountains, and after almost sideswiping a silo, he slammed the plane down on the runway. The moment my feet touched the good earth, I cried, "Hallelujah!" "Hallelujah, right back at you," Banning replied. The airport manager greeted us. "Hey, ain't you that fellow who blew out them tires landed here some time ago?" "Perhaps," Banning answered cautiously. "Why do you ask?" "Well, me," the manager yelled. "Thanks to that little accident of yours, that city built us a brand spanking new runway. How can we ever repay you?" Banning's face lit up like a light bulb. "Well, we'd be honored if you would sign the tip of our wing, and for good measure, how about sending us off with some food and gasoline?" Next day, we were back on our way. However, as we headed on east, we encountered something far more dangerous than hot weather and nightfall: prejudice. At one stop, all we wanted was to use a washroom. Climb back into that contraption of yours, the airport supervisor barked, and go back to where you came from. At another stop, we wandered into town to find some food. We don't serve your kind around here, the waiter growled. You ain't good enough for our eats. We turned tail and flew off for our lives. Hallelujah, I said when the plane's wheels lifted off the dirt. Hallelujah, right back at you, Banning replied. Our fortunes turned in Oklahoma, where we were able to rely on the kindness of family and friends. Y'all look like you need some clean clothes and a warm bath, Mama Allen said when we stopped in Oklahoma City. I smelled y'all before you crossed the state line. Here are some fresh vegetables, said my high school sweetheart. You boys need to stay healthy up there. Take these plugs from my plow, said Banning's brother in El Reno, in case you get any more leaks. And here are some sandwiches, said his cousin. I'll make as many as you can fit. Of course, they all signed their names to the wing of our flying jalopy. From Springfield, Illinois, to Terre Haute, Indiana, to Columbus, Ohio, we flew without problems. But heading into Pittsburgh, we ran into a ferocious storm, the worst one of the entire journey. We're going down, Banning cried as he pulled up the throttle to avoid a cluster of trees. But where's the airfield? I shouted. Airfield? I'm aiming for that wheat field. On the landing, both wings buckled and part of the nose fell off, but somehow we made it in one piece. Hallelujah, I told my pilot and friend. Hallelujah, right back at you, he replied. Rise and shine, Banning said the next morning with the first signs of light. I can almost taste the salt of the Atlantic Ocean. We jostled by Johnstown, hiccupped past Harrisburg, and dipped over the Delaware before finally landing at Mercer Airport in West Trenton, New Jersey. After 3,300 miles and 21 days, we had just one small hop to go. On Sunday morning, October 9th, 1932, James Banning piloted our OXX-6 Eagle Rock over New York Harbor. We saluted the Statue of Liberty before turning toward Valley Stream Airport in Long Island, New York. Hallelujah, I cried. Hallelujah, right back at you, Banning replied for the final time. We received a hero's welcome in Harlem. A banquet dinner was held in our honor, and hundreds lined the streets just to shake our hands. You call yourselves the Flying Hobos, a reporter called out as we greeted the throngs, but have you got a name for this adventure? We grabbed hands and raised our arms to the heavens. The HallelujahFlight.